thought I'd just catch you up on a few of the little bits and pieces that I'm doing here. They're not enough for a whole video, but might be quite an interesting video to just put them all in one. So here I've got this aftermarket Honda Radiator. It's a nice thick one, and I want it to be sitting. I've had a few different things in my design. I was going to have side pods and have it mounted in the back. I was going to have a duct all the way through the center of the car and have it in the back, but with the shape of it and things aerodynamically that was not going to work. So I am just going to put it in the front here. And that's why that gap's big enough for that. It goes within our crumple zone, and it'll just be straight up and down. Back a little bit though, and it should be pretty sweet. So to mount that in there, what I've done is drawn this up, and I'll add the footage here of cutting this out. Now, this is what I've cut out and then folded on the brake press. It's come out pretty nice. It's just using the standard rubber grommet type things that go in these holes here, and I'll weld that in between these two arms on the crumple zone, and then the radiator will just slot down in there, and then it'll have another arm that I'll show you later that attaches to this top piece here to stop it from rocking backs and forwards, and that should look pretty good, I think. So now I've got the radiator mount in. It's looking pretty sweet. I'm just sort of missing one bit. It was a little annoying that this top pickup is off center. So what I did was made this more of an elaborate bracket. So then it looks like it draws your eye away from the fact that it's not center. So, and also it looks quite cool with the scratch built design name in there. The only thing I'm missing is the proper rubber bracket for the top. That's actually off a smaller one. The bottom two I had, and I was missing one more, so hopefully I can get one of them soon, and then it'll sort of close up these gaps a little bit. It'll pull it forward and just have it sitting in there a little neater. So as I'm sitting here in the car, I've just been working out this block of wood is just a really good height for where I want the shifter to mount. I need to pull it back just a touch further, but right about there feels about right for the shifter. So I now need to come up with a bracket to mount that shifter to that's going to be nice and stiff so it doesn't flex at all, and still has to be able to pass wiring and brake lines and radiator lines through and under it. So I have to allow a bit of room for that, but that's no problem. And it'll give me a structure to attach other things to as well. So I've got to try to keep it light, but want it to be nice and strong. It'll probably get covered over, but I'll still dole it up and make it look good. So this is what I've come up with here. It's the same height as that piece of wood. It's a little bit narrower because the base of the shifter is narrower. It gives us a bit more room between the seats too. As you can see, I've cut a whole lot of weight out of it and folded down the edges, which I'll weld down there and down the front as well, and that'll keep it nice and stiff. And it's just going to have wee brackets that attach down onto that front rail there, and a couple more down onto this back rail, so that should be quite nice there. I haven't got the holes in the top, but I was just going to drill them. So that's where the shifter's going to mount there. So just got to get to work now. I decided not to weld it to the frame. I decided to tab it to the frame so then I can remove it to get to the wiring and stuff under it a lot easier. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. something a little bit different. I'm trying to sort out, now that I've got the shifter in the front and mounted on the mount and it bolts in and it's in a really nice position and I'm pretty happy with that. Now I've got to work out how the linkage cables go through and connect to the gearbox. So you can buy a thing online to create this to make it like a rear engine vehicle, so the linkages come in the other side, but with this CL7 gearbox it works a little bit differently. So I think this one here works opposite directions than all the other ones. So I'm making my own, and so I've got my plate here, and then I've cut some of this is the stock one anyway, which I wasn't going to be able to fit in there, and I've created this so I can get the cable in and bolt it into it, and I've already got it on this one, so I obviously cut it a lot shorter to the height this one needs to be. It's got to be fold in it just to give it a bit more strength. It is 4mm steel, so it shouldn't flex anyway, and the idea is to, if you can see, that goes on where it normally would, and I get the location where the gear knob is center, like about there somewhere, and I'm going to tack weld that on there, check that one's right, and then I'll set the other one and stiffen it up a little bit, and hopefully that'll get it working. So that's what I'm going to try and achieve tonight. I've got all the bits here to do it, and hopefully we'll be able to shift through all the gears. There is one other thing with the gears on this thing. This one has this little solenoid here, so you can't select reverse when your wheels are rolling forward, I believe. So I can either tune that into my computer so it works the same as that, or I've been told you can just take it out, but then you could accidentally select reverse while you're driving along. And the other option is just to put a switch up the front somewhere, so when you want to select reverse, you just hit the switch and pull it into reverse. So I think that's going to be what I want to go with, and I might make a switch maybe on the shifter or somewhere really easy to hit so I can change it. So yeah, I'm going to get into that, and I'll give you an update in a minute on how we get on. Hey Otis. Okay, oh well, now I've mocked that up, got the plate in there, got them sort of set at the distances I want, and I'm really happy with how easy that was. I was expecting that to be a nightmare, and it's been a lot more straightforward. I'll be able to run the cables, they're like pretty much the perfect length, and it seems to be working. So that one's my side to side movement, and that one's my forward back movement. So if I go across and up, that's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. That was pretty easy. Now I just got to brace the plate back into these two bolts here. There's this like lifting eye that's attached to the bell housing here. So I will just make a little like gusset type thing that braces that. It's pretty stiff anyway, but I'll just make a light one just to give it that little bit more rigidity. And then I'm not relying on two little 10mm bolts to hold it all, because if you're throwing gears quite hard, I believe this might flex a bit, so might as well have it nice and rigid. Alrighty, so I've just, as you would have seen, trimmed the end off that, welded it out, and it's all ready to go back in. I've just had arrive in the mail some of the brake components. Now this is just the pedal box. I'm going for the tilt-on pedal box master cylinders. So in this is the master cylinder here, and it's quite nice because it comes with remote reservoir options, and it also comes with a small reservoir option. or this bigger guy. I think the bigger guy's if you want to go straight on. Smaller guy if you want to mount it higher up, further away. Now, so I've had to get 2 of those. Now with tilt on, they were actually really good with, I was unsure about what size I needed to get in the master cylinders. So they give you like a form on all the aspects of your car, like the weight and what brakes you're running, or what size the pistons are, and what size your rotors are, what size wheel you're running, like as much info as you can give them, and they obviously calculate what will be the best master cylinder for you. So I did that and went for these ones, which is some of the smallest ones you can get. This here should be the actual pedal box. It's pretty cool. Looks like cast alloy. So this is how it's come. It's got a balance bar here so you can adjust the pressure front and rear. It's a clutch and the brake pedal. I didn't opt for the throttle pedal because I have my own thing I want to do there. And it comes with these pedals. Get this one out. This looks like the clutch one. And it has options, like some grip tape there, which is quite nice. And you have plenty of options, so you can go bring the pedals closer together, or up or down, or quite a bit of adjustment there to get it all just the way you like it. So I've just got this clutch master cylinder that's off the R-type Euro R Accord, and I want to make it adapt onto there. So as you can see, these studs on it are way too far apart, but it gives me heaps of room on this flange that I'll be able to knock them out, and I'll drill a new hole lower, and then this should just bolt straight on, I think. Being a clutch, I'm not too worried about doing that. If it was a brake master cylinder, I would not do that, but seeming it's this, I think I can get away with that real safely, and it should be mint. So after templating, here we go. We've got my plate in. I've obviously cut lots and lots of weight out of it and tried to keep it light, and I have quite a few adjustment holes here. I'm going to have to make a little piece that goes on the back of the clutch here to make that shaft longer. Now I'm not going to weld it or anything. I'll machine up a wee sleeve, because obviously that pedal's all the way back and it's only just touching the start of the shaft. So I'll make a new little I don't know, I guess you call it like a spacer for there, and look into adding throttle in the future. Sorry for having to listen to my voice so much in this episode. It's just a quick one to show everyone all the little bits and pieces that are coming together, keeping it up to date. I did have to pull the motor out one more time and put it back in again so I could get in under some bars to weld to some spots that I'd been meaning to get to, and then the car was ready to be packed up into the trailer and off for its first cert. Now this is a big moment for the car, and I was pretty worried about going just in case they completely failed it, but I will do a later video on the whole cert process once I've gone through it. There doesn't seem to be much out there online, and I'll try to put something together for people that are trying to put a car on the road in New Zealand, just to help them out a bit. Thanks for watching. There's another video coming out real soon. All the filming's already done for it, so keep an eye out, and we'll see you then. Bye.